Welcome back to Orlando Experience. We're back at Universal again today to look at more of the Horror Nights construction, and we're going to talk about where the houses are going to be too, or speculation of where the houses are going to be. I've seen they put up a whole lot more. They've been putting up food booths too, themed to Last of Us, so we're going to go look at everything. As you can see behind me, there's more put up right now. So we're going to go actually back to the front, and I'm going to take you guys through there. So we headed back up to the front just for wayfinding. As you can see, this is still up. All they've changed is they've added some way for the scare actors to get up there to be able to go around. And where we started was right over to the right side, so we'll go over there. So this is all that's up over here right now. Right where we did the front of the video. Seems like some sort of almost caravan kind of thing. As we know, Dr. Oddfellow ran a circus, so this makes sense for its theming. And this is what the front scare zone is going to be. There's obviously not a whole lot out here right now. I don't know if there will be in the future, because this one's usually fairly bare, just with scare actors, but we'll find out. We're going to move off. Actually, we're going to go over to Minions and look over there. So, right on the left side of Minions over here, this is where the Yeti Campground Kills house is supposedly going to be. They usually have a house entrance right along this little alleyway. This one's going to be just another one of that Yeti houses. If you've been to Horror Nights in the past, you've definitely seen either the costumes or another Yeti house. This one seems like it's going to be pretty good, probably with some good sets. So we're going to head back down, and we're going to keep heading towards Jimmy Fallon down there. We'll keep talking when we get down there. So right across the way from all the new Minion stuff is the stage, where they always have usually one of the bigger houses. This year, it looks like it's going to be Exorcist. This whole area is going to get turned into a queue line. It is themed off the Exorcist Believer. Obviously, everything's still speculation, even though this booth does look almost more like Stranger Things than it does Exorcist. That's right in front of the stage area. Alright, so we're right next to Central Park. We're going to walk right around. Look at all the food booths. This one seems to be some sort of almost like diner, drive-in kind of thing. An old cabin-themed one. We're going to turn towards the Last of Us ones. So I do know some of the bigger YouTubers that get invited to the new buffet offering early. So if you're looking for any of the event food, I would go check out one of them. Tim's always a good choice. They got to test out a bunch of food early for the buffet and for the booths. Obviously this is all Last of Us themed. These will be booths with special Last of Us themed food offerings for the event. I'm very excited for this. Alright, so now we're going to turn actually back towards Mummy, toward the left, towards those houses. So right back here by Jimmy Fallon, it's going to be 3 of the houses. Blood Moon Dark Offering, Stranger Things, and Dueling Dragons. I'm very excited for Dueling Dragons. I think it could be a cool house because it sounds like it might split past halfway through the house, giving it a little bit more re-walkability through the house. That'll be nice. So I think this is going to be a slam dunk corner for Halloween Horror Nights this year. You got Stranger Things, you got a cult themed house, and you got Dueling Dragons. I just think it's going to be really good. We're actually going to head down through Vamp 69. If you do want to see more about the scare zones, make sure you go check out our last video where we talk more about the scare zones and their backstories. And also, if you want to go check out Universal on Spotify, they do have a podcast this year, an anthology podcast going over kind of all the themes this year for Dr. Oddfellow and a bunch of vampires that were involved with him. So, yep, we're just going to keep heading down. We're going to head past Vamp 69 and continue on towards Men in Black after we check it out. And if I get any of my facts wrong today, please let me know. I'm all going off of Twitter, so hopefully everything is correct on there. So we got a motorcycle right over here in front of Vamp 69. There isn't too much more in this scare zone, just a few motorcycles. There is a few barrels over here, and there is a bus, so we'll go look at all that. Yep, just some themed barrels over here next to the stage. And then we have the bus that we'll also go look at real quick. We got a big bus all themed to the Vamp 69 scare zone. I would imagine there's going to be bodies or something in here. So a lot of the windows are blacked out so you can't see inside, because I don't want the day guests and the children seeing it, obviously. So after this, we're going to keep heading on towards Fast and Furious and head towards that scare zone and those house entrances over there. Just joking again. I'm actually heading off to the right into the alley that we talked about in the last video where they usually have a food booth. Does look they have one up right now. Looks like it is going to be themed to Last of Us again. Obviously looks like a military kind of booth, just like Fedra. So I'm assuming it's Last of Us. It might not be. It could just theme to like a survivor camp, but I'm just assuming it is Last of Us. So now we're actually gonna turn back towards Fast and Furious and keep heading that way. So yeah, this is gonna be themed to Last of Us again. Right on the other side of it, I found I'm assuming it's probably going to be either a bar or possibly a way for you to just order what's inside so they can make it a little more efficient. But it obviously says Fedra right over there. So now we're going to keep walking towards Jimmy Fallon. So right as you turn to the left out of New York and you start heading towards San Francisco and Fast and Furious, this is where Chucky Ultimate Kill Count's entrance will going to be. This is where the Blumhouse house was last year, so pretty big area back there. And we're pretty cemented that this one's Chucky because there is a food booth right across the way that's Chucky themed. Alright, now we're going to keep heading towards Shipyard 32. Alright, we made it back over to Shipyard 32. And look at all the updates. It looks like they've added a lot in this area, so we'll look around. Lots of more cages and stuff. This one's definitely going to have a scare actor in it. As you can see, there's a door in the back, or maybe you can't. Might be a little dark in there. We've got a crane right over here. Ton of theming in the scare zone this year around. There's a crane that dropped a big old box. It's broken open, obviously with Dr. Oddfellow's creations in them. Got one more new thing in this scare zone. It's right over here. It's a little more see-through during the day, but this is more of a curtain here where scare actors will be inside poking their arms out and jumping out to scare people. And as we can see, the new food booth is going up right over there. So now we're going to exit Shipyard and keep walking towards Diagon, towards the houses over there. So on our way over to the Fear Factor stage, over here right on this little pier area where they usually have a couple of the food stands. Looks like there's only one up right now and it's all fantasy themed. It's very cool with the stained glass windows. I think they had a booth similar to this last year, actually over in the kids zone. Might be the same booth, but it looks very nice. So now we're actually going to turn towards Fear Factor right behind us. So right back here by this gate, to the right of the Fear Factor stage and to the left of Men in Black, this is where Dr. Oddfellow's Twisted Origins and the Darkest Deal houses are going to be. I'm very excited for both these houses. One is the Icon house, that's, themed of the year, very good. The Darkest Deal sounds very interesting. It's about a musician that sold his soul to the devil. It's going to be quite an interesting themed house. I think it could have some cool sets, some cool monsters. But we're going to keep turning towards Men in Black, and we're going to keep walking that way towards more houses. It does actually look like they've gutted the Men in Black sign right now. Looks like they're probably working on maybe some lighting work or something inside of it, but it's completely hollow, with obviously construction rolls around it. So right behind me you can see some lighting stuff up, probably to hold signs. This is supposedly going to be Last of Us. This is my most anticipated house for this year by a long shot. I am very excited for this house. I think it could be very well themed with a lot of clickers and stuff all throughout. I'm hoping for some human scares too, because I feel like that's more of the point of both the show and the game. I've played both, watched and played both. So yeah, I'm hoping this is a great house. This is my most anticipated one for this year. Supposedly it's going to be back here next to the Men in Black gift shop and the Coke freestyle thing, right in between those. There's usually actually two house entrances back here, but it does seem the speculation map only shows just Last of Us that I actually could see because of how popular I think it's going to be. I think it's just going to be really crowded back here already. So we're going to keep turning. We're going to go towards Simpsons. So as we walk through Simpsons, I'm just going to talk a little bit. We are heading towards our last house of the day. That is going to be the Universal Monsters house. We'll talk a little bit more when we get over there. But this is supposed to be where the Megan Scare Zone will be roaming. I could imagine they roam all around this area, possibly even up to Last of Us. We'll just see where their cutoff point is when it actually does start. So obviously with Kids Zone being closed and under construction this year, there's no houses back in this area this year. That I do think is going to make for a little bit of a weird dead zone. I'm hoping with the Megan Horde they do kind of make up that area a little bit so you don't feel dead over here. I do anticipate this being a way less busy area of the park. But we are walking into the Jungle of Doom scare zone right now. They've added a lot in here too. Got a big old spider over there. And another one on the front part over here. More areas for just scares actors to jump out of. They've added a bunch of bats and some just theming up top. They've added a lot of vines and just little boxes and stuff all along the edges. This is always a very well themed scare zone with a lot of props. They've got the room to work with it. Got a parachute right up there. Got a ton of greenery around the plane crash. You can no longer see any of the mechanical stuff right below it. And now we made it back to the front. This will be the more normal entrance to the scare zone. Again, lots more greenery, all themed to the scare zone. I think in the dark, this scare zone will look great this year. We're turning back around towards Mel's, heading right into the Dark Zodiac. Sorry for the noise, there is a show going on the right side. But on our way over to Dark Zodiac, right on the left side over here, where usually the parades come out, is going to be where Universal Monsters Unmasked is going to be. This is going to be themed to the Paris Catacombs with some of the monsters we haven't seen before. I'm very excited for this. I do imagine this house will be very scary. I found the Universal Monsters house last year to be by far the scariest one. Lots of scares all throughout. This one probably going to be the same, where it's going to be pretty constant with a pretty scary environment. So we're going to keep heading towards the Dark Zodiac right now. Surprisingly enough, they haven't added actually that much to Dark Zodiac. They have expanded a little bit, much more on the stages that we saw last time. With a lot more props, almost spooky kind of props. And as of making this video on August 15th, the Tribute Store is still open, but I do imagine it's closing here pretty soon. So if you want to make any last purchases or anything like that, I would make sure you get over here because it is probably closing here within the next few days. So one more prop thing we're going to look at down there. So I just saw in front of the Jurassic Park Tribute Store, there is a new kind of comic book thing that you can buy right now at the Five and Dine, the Hollywood Tribute Store, and All Hallows Eve shop over at Islands. I just thought I would show it off real quick. And just a little more theming to this area. This is all that's up right now with what I've shown. So I imagine we will see more of this within the next week or two. Alright, so that's about it. We're going to go end the video right over here again. So thanks for hanging out with me today again. These are more informational style videos, so if you like more of this stuff, or even if you like more of vlogging stuff, just let me know down in the comments. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. It always really helps. But we got to look at the rest of the scare zone construction. We got to talk about the houses where they're supposedly going to be. I would say if you're coming, just make sure you do grab a map on your way in or check the website, because it is speculation still. I don't think we have an official map, so when the official map does come out, just make sure you check it. Make sure the houses are where you want to before you run back there. Alright, thank you for hanging out. Again, like and subscribe. I appreciate every one of you. Bye.